Welcome back to the Rams Active channel. I am always your host, Rune, here with my co-host as always, JT. JT, how you doing?
Doing good. I'm glad Cooper Kupp's a Super Bowl champion. Unfortunately, we wake up this morning and the Rams are not Super Bowl champions like we wanted, but Cooper Kupp's a champ. I know a lot of people are happy the Patriots aren't Super Bowl champions. I know a lot of people don't like them, but best part about this is that a new season starts today as of February 9th, 2026. A brand new NFL season begins, even though we don't play for a while. We start preparing for Super Bowl 61 and the road to it. So I'm excited. Can't wait for September.
Yeah, all I know no football till August, but that's even August is just preseason and preseason. I mean, it was kind of fun to watch. It was fun to see Stetson Bennett do his thing out there, but I mean, yeah, it's a
Not
long
the
road
same.
from here. It's February. We have all the rest of February, all of March, April, May, June, July, August, and then you get to September. So that's 8 months. That's I don't know if
It
I can do
hurts.
that.
It
I might
hurts.
have to watch some of that UFL nonsense.
It's a good thing we have Dodger baseball coming up. If you're a
Oh,
Dodgers fan, shout out to you.
don't even get me started. Ooh, I've been yearning for some Dodger baseball.
Absolutely.
Like you said, February 9th, day one of the off season. There's also another thing that is significant about February 9th. JT's birthday. So
Thank you.
everybody start singing him happy birthday. I know you are right now, but JT's birthday, he's turning, what are you turning?
21.
21. 21. Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Don't have too much fun. All right,
Thank
but
you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm unfortunately what I wanted for my birthday was to have the Rams win the Super Bowl the night before. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. There's the next year, my birthday is, hear me out. It was before the Super Bowl because when we won the Super Bowl last is February 13th. Next year it's February 14th. So close enough. Rams are winning the Super Bowl confirmed. That's all I care about.
yeah, the Super Bowl is on February 14th next year, and February
Someone
14th
else's
is
birthday, if I'm
my
correct.
birthday. So
Yeah.
let's hope they can get it done next year because that'd probably be the best birthday present one could ask for. But it's officially the off season, and it's just going to be a lot of waiting from here on out. You're going to be waiting for free agency news, waiting for trade rumors, stuff like that, waiting for the draft, doing draft stuff, and it really takes a toll, and it really makes you miss football a lot. So hopefully we can get a lot of interest in some draft stuff this year, like I did last year. I don't know how much you were into the draft last year.
Yeah. I was into it a lot. I think I discussed last time I was on your channel that I was actually very upset we didn't take a corner from Michigan, Will Johnson, because I am a Michigan fan. And I was really upset we didn't take him, and we traded our pick when I wanted to take him, and I was like, dang, we're gonna miss out on him. He falls to the second round. I'm like, oh, we can still get him. Let's go. We pass on him again, and then he goes to Arizona. So that's really all I remember from last year's draft. I was pissed, but hopefully this year a corner will once again be something we target.
Yeah, last year I remember in all my mock drafts that I made, pretty much I think in every one of them I had the Rams taking either a corner or a linebacker with that first round pick, and of course you trade down, you don't keep that first round pick, and in turn you get the Falcons first round pick this year, which I think was the right move because now you have two first round picks to play with. Not fun at the time though. I really wanted a corner, whether that was a guy to Ole Miss, Trey Amos, Morrison out of Notre Dame, guys like that were guys I was really high on going into the drafts, and I just wanted a quarterback in general because you look at it, and that was, I would say, behind linebacker, that was definitely their biggest need. And you look and you kind of fix the linebacker problem. I still think you need to draft one this year personally, but you fix it for the time being with that Nate Landman signing, which was a slam dunk, by the way. And then,
Yes.
but no, you don't draft a corner in last year's draft, and that was like one thing that I was really mad about. And they didn't even pick one up in undrafted free agency. And then fast forward to the end of the season, you look and you could say that the thing that ended your season was the corners, and it kind of sucked knowing that I was right and that I kind of not predicted the future, but kind of just like knew that not having a corner would not be good news, and I was right. But it's a new year, and you can learn from these past mistakes. That's why mistakes are a good thing. Nobody's ever succeeded without making mistakes, and you look and the Rams took a significant step forward from that last year. And of course, you lose to the Super Bowl champion Eagles, and you follow that up by losing to the now Super Bowl champion Seahawks. But the Rams just had a great year, and they really showed. The Rams showed that they definitely can win a Super Bowl. They definitely could have won it this year. I think they should have. You can blame Chris Shula's inability to, pivot and change his game plan on the fly. Um, I've said my piece on that before, but enough kind of sulking and looking at this Super Bowl as something that the Rams should have won. Now all the focus is shifted to Super Bowl LXI, Super Bowl 61 in beautiful SoFi Stadium. I think all the stars are aligning. It's my birthday, and I tell the Rams when they can and can't lose. I think I can tell them they can win this Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, you made mistakes this past year, and you can learn from them. So I think that starts with free agency. So who are a couple guys that you have looked at so far? You probably not looked at a bunch of people. I personally haven't looked at a lot of people because I've just been focused on watching the games and stuff. But who are a couple of kind of bigger names you could see the Rams going after?
So I want to start out by mentioning that I think a few guys that we aren't going to re-sign that are going to be replaced are going to be Tutu Atwell, and I think another big one is probably Kobe Durant. I I start off by saying this because I think if we do draft a wide receiver, whether it's Mekhi Lemon or anybody else, you have to get rid of a receiver or two to make room for him. And Tutu Atwell is a free agent. We're not going to pay him $10 million again like we did last year. I'm sure he's gone. If you want to draft a corner or improve your corners in free agency, maybe you go out and get Trayvon Diggs. Maybe you go out and you get Jamel Dean. Maybe you go out and you get somebody like, I don't know, who's another corner that's a free agent. Let me think. You get what I'm saying though. There's a few corners that are available. Jonathan Jones from Washington. There's a few guys that are available that I would like them to get. Me personally, I think Kobe Durant is gone. As much as I do like him, I do think he's gone. I think we go out and get somebody, maybe a Trayvon Diggs. I don't know if I'd love that signing, but I think we go out and get a corner in free agency, and then we also draft one as well. You get your two top corners, and you also re-sign Akella Witherspoon. Those are your three main corners right there. Boom, already an improvement from last year. If I could draw my attention to guys that aren't corners that are going to be free agents, the big one I feel like is Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals. I don't think the Rams are going to target him. I just want to get his name out of the way because I know he's one of the bigger names in free agency. Another one, Travis Kelce. We're not going to go after him. I'm getting the obvious ones out of the way here. I really do think they're going to go for Trayvon Diggs. I do. I'm not saying I want them to. I'm saying I think they will. I don't know why, but it gives me flashbacks to when we signed Trey White, and that was not fun. So, and then
Don't
all of
even
a
say that
sudden,
name. Don't.
yeah, all of a sudden we were watching Broncos Bills, and we're watching him get cooked that whole game, and it's like, oh, told you so. I'm like, I don't know why you'd take him back, but maybe Kyle Duggar from the Steelers. I've never been able to pronounce this dude's name right in my life, but Joel Bitonio from the Browns. I know I'm not saying that right. I've never been able to pronounce that dude's name. I'm so bad with that, but you know who I'm talking about. Maybe that's a target they go after, especially if Havenstein retires. I know he's a guard and Havenstein is a tackle, but maybe just improve your offensive line a little bit, even though their offensive line was very, very good this season. I'm trying to just look at some free agent names right now. Another free agent, Jimmy Garoppolo. Maybe we get a new backup quarterback. Maybe we draft one behind Stafford, maybe in the third or fourth round this year. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Who do you think we go after in free agency?
Well, I would like if they signed a corner. Obviously, because corner, I'd say, is number one, the biggest need going into this free agency and going into this draft here. But yeah, I think I agree with you. I think you should sign a corner and then draft one and kind of just do what you need to do based on that. Whether that's re-sign a guy like Akella Witherspoon. I think I'd rather re-sign Roger McCreary than Akella Witherspoon. That could potentially be a hot take.
Really?
I saw some good stuff from McCreary, and McCreary, he's younger. He dealt with a hip injury there for a little bit. But I mean, Akella Witherspoon played, I don't even know how many games. I think he played, because he played week two, came out, or he played week one, came out week two, and then he missed all the way until like week 12. but
Yeah, like
then
week
and then
14,
still
something
missed a
like that.
couple games. So I think he played
Yeah.
maybe like a total like 5 or 6 games this year. But this was Akella's first year where he was really like injury prone, and you wouldn't think it, but Akella Witherspoon is a veteran. He has spent his time in this league, so I personally would like a younger corner. Akello, there's a lot of love for Akello, a lot of Akello not so love. A lot of that's because Jake Ellenbogen. Akello Witherspoon, he's a good player. You know, if you keep him, I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be super mad. But if you don't keep him, did I just say if you keep him, I'm not gonna be mad? I'm like all off my thing, man. But no, if you keep Akello, don't keep Akello. I think you can get him on a team friendly deal, so that's a plus. He's not gonna be one of those guys who's gonna be commanding like 15 million a year. So that's the good thing about that. Kobe Durant, a good reason why I think he probably won't stay is because he's a ball hawk corner. And sometimes that can get him in trouble, which is what we saw kind of down the stretch there of the season. But no, since he can get those turnovers for you from time to time, he's going to get that money. And a team like maybe like, say, like a team, like a random team like the Saints or something like that, they're going to be wanting a guy like that to be kind of their number two, number one corner.
Mm-hmm.
So but no, I think revamping this cornerback room might be the move, and that might not be what Les Snead and Sean McVay want to hear because they're all about bringing familiarity in, bringing all these. But it's good to have some new faces because obviously what they had last year wasn't really working when it needed to work. So yeah, I think signing a guy like you mentioned, Jamel Dean. Jamel Dean would be a slam dunk in my opinion. I really like Jamel Dean. There's also some other guys. There's this guy on the Saints whose name is escaping me. But we're definitely gonna get more into that. But wide receivers, I think if you're wide receiver, if you're gonna sign one wide receiver out of this entire free agency class that really fits in this offense, I think you look at Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is
Mm. Okay.
a better Tutu Atwell, better size, more of a deep threat, and you saw that on the Colts. He was that designated deep guy, and he played that role so well. If you look at Tutu Atwell, I don't think he even had like 10 receptions on the year,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks because I mean I've seen stuff out of Tutu Atwell. I was there in person when Tutu Atwell scored a go-ahead touchdown against the Colts.
Yeah.
80-yarder, by the way, and they just looked at that and said, you know what? Let's not play him.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get personally. There had to be some character issue or something going on, but I think if you want to get better in the wide receiver room and you don't want to spend a first round draft pick on a wide receiver, I think getting a guy like Alec Pierce that'd be incredible. I don't know how you feel about that, but
Yeah, I think that'd be a good signing. I think that's it's probably their plan if they don't go for a guy like Mekhi Lemon or somebody in the first round. I see them using one of those first round picks on a receiver more than I see them going out and getting a guy like Pearson free agency. We kind of saw that last year. We know they like to use those picks on skill position players, wide receiver, tight end, running back. We saw it last year when they took Terrence Ferguson early in the second round. We've seen it in other years when they take Cam Akers earlier, they take Todd Gurley early. But I think they're going to go the route of taking a receiver in the draft rather than getting one in free agency. But I don't mind the idea of going out and getting a guy like Alec Pierce. I don't know if I see them doing it. By the way, I think the guy you were trying to think of from the Saints, the corner, was it Alontae Taylor?
yes, Alontae Taylor.
Yes. Yeah, he's just another guy that's a free agent that I wouldn't mind them picking up. I would love them to just go out and get a guy in free agency, whether it's Alontae Taylor or whoever, go out and get a corner in free agency and draft one in the first round. Because you can draft a guy like Lemon in the first round, and draft a corner. You got two picks. And then also spend a little bit of money, maybe 2-3 million on a guy like Taylor from the Saints or any corner in free agency, whoever it may be. There you got your top two corners. You re-sign Witherspoon. You got your top three corners, like I said, and then you can still get a guy like Lemon in the draft for your offensive skill positions. So, I mean, like I said, I don't mind them getting Pierce. I just don't know if it's something that would happen. I'm trying to look at more into the other free agents right now. Mike Evans is supposed to be free agent, but I doubt he's going anywhere. So is Christian Kirk. Debo Samuel, obviously, we want nothing to do with him.
No,
Yeah,
not at all.
we do not. Obviously, Tutu Atwell is a free agent. I think he's gone. I'd be very surprised if they brought him back. Hollywood Brown is a free agent. There's a lot of guys. Jawan Jennings, I'm sure we won't go after a guy like him. Maybe a guy that I would like to get, a guy that I would love to get is a guy that kind of cooked us in the second half of the season. He got traded at the deadline, and that's Rashid Shaheed. He's a
Ooh,
free agent.
I would love to have him.
If we could get him as our kick returner and our punt returner, our special teams problems would be solved just like that. Just like that. All be solved. We probably found our kicker in Harrison Mevis, who's also a free agent, by the way. We have to re-sign him. But obviously, special teams has been a problem for a year or two now. This would solve it. I don't care if you have to throw him, I don't know if I'd say 10 million like they gave Tutu Atwell, but maybe half that. Give Shaheed, I can't say his dude's name. Rashid Shaheed. There we go. That's probably the first time in my life I pronounced it right. But we go out and get him, and I think our special teams problems would be solved. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think that'd be a great pickup.
Yeah, I think the front office and just everyone in the Rams organization, they're aware of the problems. They're aware of the corner problem, and they're aware of the special teams problem. So I think if you really want to look at the special teams and say, hey, they were like bottom five in the league, which they were a bottom five special teams unit in the league. If they look at that and want to improve, I think getting a guy like Rashid Shaheed is definitely a go. But the thing about that is, one, I don't think Rashid Shaheed could potentially want to leave the reigning Super Bowl champions for the division rivals. So, and I think the Seahawks know his value. I think the Seahawks are going to throw some money his way. So I think if you want to secure Shaheed, you're almost going to have to get into a bidding war with the Seahawks. And I don't think the Rams are one of those teams who's going to want to just get into this bidding war and throw a chunk of change at Shaheed. So that's my problem with that. But I think the Rams, I don't know, they could be bold. They could go and surprise us, throw some money his way because Rashid Shaheed's a good wide receiver as well. He's not just a punt returner. He's shown his skills as a receiver. And I think he'd be kind of just play that Tutu Atwell role. Well, not Tutu Atwell role because Tutu Atwell, they benched him pretty much. But he'd
You don't
he'd
want
kind of
that role,
play,
apparently.
yeah, apparently Tutu Atwell is just the worst wide receiver on this team. But no, I think Rashid Shaheed could play that wide receiver three role perfectly. So that's just my take on that. I could see the Rams going and doing it. I think they would have a lot of interest because you could almost say Rashid Shaheed won the Seahawks game against the Rams. And I don't think Rashid won that game, but he definitely shifted the momentum Seattle's way.
He was a big part of it, for sure. He was
Yeah,
definitely a big part of it.
yeah. But I would really like seeing Shaheed coming to the Rams. But the thing is, obviously, just won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. There's a lot of loyalty there. So
Mm.
I probably would see him going back to the Seahawks. But I mean, the Rams could surprise me and outbid the Seahawks. So who knows? That'd be a really good pickup, though. All right, but just kind of focusing a little more on leaning more towards the draft. Who are a couple? If you had to just choose a couple prospects that just instantly come to mind that are your favorite guys, who would you have to say there?
I know everyone wants to go with Mekhi Lemon, but if we resign Devontae Adams, and obviously Puka is going to be here, obviously. Like you said, I like the idea of going out to get a guy like Alec Pierce. I don't think they're going to do it, but I do like the idea. I like where your head's at. I don't want to go the route of a wide receiver. I want to go the route of someone that can help this secondary, and that's Caleb Downs from Ohio State. That is who I want. I'm a Michigan fan. I'm a Michigan Wolverine at heart. But when it comes to the Rams, I don't mess around. I don't care if you're from Ohio State. Get Caleb Downs at horns, and this problem will be solved. This will be an elite defense in the NFL because of this guy. If you can re-sign Witherspoon, you go out and sign a solid corner to be a pair with Akello, and then you get Caleb Downs in your secondary, it's going to be something else. That's who I want. Even if they have to trade the 13th pick and somebody else to trade up maybe into the top 10 and go get this guy, I think he's going to go top 7. I do. At least top 10. So I think they're going to have to trade up to get him. I know Dallas is going to be in on him. They have the pick before us. So I would like to see the Rams trade up and get Caleb Downs in the draft. What do you think?
I think I agree with that. I think he's a playmaker. Obviously, with the national champion Ohio State Buckeyes, not this year, obviously, but the year before. I agree with everything you said there. The only thing is, would getting Caleb Downs mean you let Cam Curl walk?
I mean, it's tough because that's another free agent the Rams would have to re-sign. I would love to bring back Cam Curl, but if they do draft Caleb Downs, it would be something that would have to happen. Yes, I think Cam Curl, they let him walk if they do get Caleb Downs, but not paying Cam Curl opens up money to go out and get a guy like Alec Pierce or Rashid Shaheed, so you don't have to re-sign Tutu Atwell either. So you're replacing Tutu Atwell by getting Shaheed, Alec Pierce, whoever, and you're replacing Cam Curl by getting Caleb Downs. I don't mind that swap at all. I really like Cam Curl. I would love to see him back in horns, but if it means getting Caleb Downs, who I think is going to really be a star in this league, I think it's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right there on. So you let Cam Curl walk and draft Caleb Downs. That does free up money. So I think it'd be a good move, especially if you really think Caleb Downs is going to be a playmaker, which I believe and you believe as well. I think that'd be a good pick. The only thing is, will he be available, or will you have to throw some ammo and trade up for Caleb Downs? That's kind of just the only question. I'd say if I had to pick kind of like a favorite guy in this draft, and it's not, I don't want to be basic and go the Makai Lemon or Mansour Delane route. I'd probably have to say, um, this is a guy who, if you don't draft a corner with your 13th pick, you can get there at 29, and that is Colton Hood. Colton
Mm.
Hood, he's been showing off in some of those like Senior Bowl things. I think there was like another bowl that he was like a part in. It wasn't the Senior Bowl. It was like the something bowl. I don't even know. But he's been putting on some good tape. He's one of those two good corners who are expected to go pretty early out of Tennessee. Um, but Colton Hood, I originally, when looking at like draft stuff and looking at draft prospects, I looked at corner because the Rams need a corner, and I saw Colton Hood, and I was immediately like, oh hey, Colton Hood. He's
Yeah.
Colton. My name's Colton. Like, I mean, that'd be cool. But I mean, the more I look at it, Colton Hood is a phenomenal, and I think he would help out that cornerback room immensely. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know if you've looked at any Colton Hood stuff. How do you
I
how do you feel
haven't
about
seen
that?
too much of him, but I know he's talented. I've heard the name a little bit. You probably know more about him than I do, but I think one of the mock drafts I've seen has the Rams taking him at 29. So, I mean, hey, I wouldn't mind it at all. I do have a question for you though. It has to do with the draft. This is something that we've been asking about the Rams for a few years in a row now. Do we draft a quarterback? Is it going to happen this year? Because this is probably Stafford's last year. If he's coming back, I think is his last year. Do we draft a QB to back him up for a year and then be our next guy up, like Trinidad Chambliss, or maybe we take someone in the first round? I don't know. What do you think?
I think you could, and especially because Jimmy Garoppolo is a free agent, and you're not going to have that kind of problem. Jimmy is a free agent, right?
Hmm. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, you're not really going to have that burden of having four QBs on the roster. If you draft one, you'll either have to let go of Stetson Bennett, who they're high on, and Jimmy Garoppolo. But I think the Rams could draft a quarterback this year. I think if it is Stafford's last year, which I truly believe it is, I don't think there's any way I see him playing a 19th year. I mean, if he stays healthy, anything could happen, but he's old and he knows it, so he wants to get one more good year after his MVP season. We'll talk more about that MVP award in a minute, but I think you can go out and draft a quarterback. I think my favorite quarterback to watch, at least out of this class, was Trinidad Chambliss, because you're not gonna get Mendoza. Like, I don't think there's any way the Rams get Mendoza. I mean, if you say, okay, say you do throw something Las Vegas's way and you somehow, some way acquire that number one overall pick and draft Mendoza, that's how you know the Rams have found their next quarterback. But I mean, I could see the Rams drafting a quarterback in like the third round. I could see the Rams drafting a quarterback in like the seventh round. It just really depends on, one, who's going to be available when they're picking. Two, if they really think that a quarterback from this draft is going to be their next franchise quarterback, because I don't think this quarterback class is nearly as good as last year's. I think if you were going to draft a successor to Stafford, should have done it last year. I really wanted Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe, a Jalen Milroe Super Bowl champion, so that's kind of cool. But then you see what Jackson Dart was able to put on. So I wouldn't hate drafting a quarterback in this class, but I don't really want say if we draft a quarterback from this class, I would not want him being the successor to Stafford unless he just puts on, which I mean could happen. I mean, crazier things have happened. I mean, Tom Brady was a sixth rounder, but yeah, that's my thoughts on that. But kind of getting to what I just mentioned a little bit earlier. Let's go snatch these guys' hearts. Let's go snatch their MVP. Talk nine. Man, I literally have no words. I have no words. Matthew Stafford is your 2026 NFL MVP. Your thoughts?
He was the best quarterback in football this year. It's simple and plain. He really was. And there's always a few moments where you're like, he's got to make that throw. But I feel like it's more noticeable because it doesn't happen that often. And he's just so talented. And he's a future Hall of Famer, no doubt. I think that was a debate before this year, whether he's a Hall of Famer or not. I don't think it's a debate anymore. I think he's for sure a Hall of Famer. People are debating it after he won a ring. Now he's got a ring and an MVP, hopefully 2 rings after next year. But yeah, I'm super happy for him. I mean, I remember I loved Jared Goff so much that I was actually upset when we traded Matthew Stafford. But Matthew Stafford has grown into being arguably the best quarterback in Rams history. If not, he's right there with Kurt Warner, I think. So yeah, you gotta tip your cap, and I'm so glad he's coming back next year. That's the best part about it. It was a great speech he had with his 4 little girls up there. So, like I said, really happy for him, and hopefully he can run it back next year one last time and get a ring.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is the first Ram to win an MVP award since the year 2000 when Marshall Falk won it. Marshall Falk. I see. I know Kurt Warner won two. I don't. Did he win two as a member of the Rams, or did he win just two? Because I know he won one with
He won
Arizona,
two
right?
with the Rams.
Yeah.
I think no, I think he won both with the Rams. I think. Yeah.
I wish I was older. I would know these stuff like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
But pretty much first Rams MVP in a long time. So that was really nice to see. First Rams MVP I've ever witnessed. So that's definitely going to be, that's going to hold a special place in my heart for quite a while. But no, Matthew Stafford, he amazes me more every year. And if this upcoming year is his last year, we better enjoy him because there will never be another Matthew Stafford ever again.
That's right. Absolutely. I feel for him because I think he gets overlooked because he had to deal with the Lions for 12 years. I feel like if a lot of quarterbacks were in that position on Detroit for 12 years, they wouldn't be considered a Hall of Famer. Their career would have lasted less than a decade. Matthew Stafford battled through it, became a Ram, became a champion, became an MVP, and now he's going to be a Hall of Famer. So congrats to Glock 9, as you called them.
Yeah. A couple more things to note. The Rams have hired why Kliff Kingsbury. They have hired Kliff Kingsbury.
There you go.
We don't know his. Why I was thinking of someone else. I don't even know why, and his name just escaped me for a minute. But Rams hired Kliff Kingsbury to an undisclosed offensive role. We know it's going to be offensive, but there's no clue on if he's going to be the offensive coordinator, the passing game coordinator, assistant head coach, whatever. But point is, Kliff Kingsbury is a great mind, and he didn't show a ton as a head coach. But he was a really good OC there in Washington, and I think he was wrongfully fired by the Washington Commanders. I think the Washington Commanders had a down year after their great year last year. They went to the NFC Championship. You look at Jaden Daniels had an unhealthy year, and they kind of pawned that off on Kliff Kingsbury for not being able to try and succeed with Marcus Mariota, which I think is unfair. But point is, Sean McVay has some familiarity with Kliff Kingsbury in general. So I think that's probably the best part about it is because he's familiar, and that's what Sean McVay likes. Sean McVay, you look at players, coaches. The big thing that Les Snead and Sean McVay like is familiarity. So I think getting a guy on the coaching staff that you are familiar with is very good. And I'm super glad that Shilhaas is staying. That he didn't get a head coaching job. That's
I
good.
agree.
Running back this offense from last year, good. Only you lose Mike LaFleur, but
You could argue we had the best offense in football with the
I
best
think we
quarterback
did.
in football, the best receiver in
I
football, the best receiving core in football.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't really see what
I
offense
think
would be better. The Lions, maybe.
I don't think there is one.
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
mean,
there is one.
you could argue the
I think the
Lions because
Rams
they
had the
have
best
Amon
offense
Ra
in
and Jameer
football.
Gibbs, but I mean, the Lions have Jared Goof, and the Rams have the MVP. So can't have the best
This is true.
offense in football without a good quarterback. So
without
that's
arguably the
that's
best
my
quarterback.
yeah.
Where do you have Stafford amongst quarterbacks right now?
I would say, I mean, you can't be an MVP without being the best quarterback in the league.
It's true. It's a good point.
Point proven. Another kind of thing to note: Rams hire former offensive lineman Brian Allen. He was a Super Bowl 56 champion, but he I think it was an assistant offensive line coach role.
Yes,
Not a lot to say about that. He's a Super Bowl champion with the Rams, so once again, familiarity. That's also a good thing. The new season is upon us, and it's going to be a slow road back to September. But rest assured, there will be there will be a new day and a new beginning, and once again, it will be time for Rams football. It was a great ride this season.
all right, Vince Scully.
Yeah, that's I didn't know if you're gonna pick up on that or not, but no,
Of course. You kidding?
it was a pleasure covering the Rams this season, but it's officially the off season now, so we're gonna come right back at you with free agency predictions, draft prospects, all the works. There's going to be no shortage of content around here. But JT, as
Absolutely.
always, go tell them where they can find you at.
Yeah, you guys can find me. I'm actually on a Rams podcast called Ramblin' Rams with my guy Jordan. You can find that on YouTube on the JT Sports Network. You can find me JT Sports Network on all socials as well. You can find me Jay Torillo on TikTok. That's my main TikTok account. And yeah, that's pretty much your Ramblin' Rams on Instagram, JT Sports Network on Instagram as well, and JT Sports Network on YouTube.
Yep, you heard it here. Go follow him, please do it. Actually, you have no choice. All right, go do it. Go wish him a happy birthday. You don't
Wish
want to
this
be
guy a
mean.
happy
Come on.
birthday too.
Yeah.
In a
Oh
few
yeah,
days.
my birthday.
By the
I keep
time it's
forgetting
up,
my
he's gonna
birthday's
be
soon too. So,
yeah.
but no,
It's all right.
hell of a season. It was a pleasure to do some stuff with you this season, Jade. Go enjoy your first
Absolutely.
birthday.
You as well, man.
Don't party too hard. But I hope you have some fun. I will hit you up, of course, about Dodger stuff. But
Of
yeah,
course, of course. And
that's
real quick before we wrap things up, I do want to mention one thing before we wrap things up. Sorry to cut you off. Colton does a great job of running this channel. I think a lot of people don't know about it yet because it's a newer channel. But if you are watching this somehow, do him a favor you're not even doing him a favor. Do yourself a favor and subscribe. He does a really good job with this channel. He knows everything there is to Rams football. So please subscribe, follow him on Instagram, Rams Active, and yeah, you're doing yourself a favor, not him. He makes great content, and it's definitely worth checking out.
thank you. But that's gonna be all from us. Of course, just like I said, there's gonna be no shortage of content. We're gonna be going over free agency, drafts, anything there is. But that's it for the NFL season. No more football till September. So we will see you again very soon. Very soon. That's all from us. Peace out, everybody.
See ya.